This mini lecture will cover the concepts of Chapter 13 on motivation. Here are the learning outcomes for this chapter. You may pause here to read them if you choose. We're going to start out by talking about the concept of motivation. Motivation are the forces that initiate, direct, and make people persist in their efforts to accomplish a goal or to achieve a desired performance level. So motivation and effort are made up of, or motivation is made up of initiation of effort, which is the choices people make about how much effort to put into their jobs. Direction of effort is the choices people make in deciding where to put effort into their jobs. And persistence of effort, the choices people make about how long they will put effort into their jobs before reducing or eliminating those efforts. So all these initiation, direction, and persistence of effort all lead to the performance level of an individual within an organization. Here is a basic model of motivation. So we have unsatisfied needs, there's some tension, we have some energy to take action, we put in effort, it leads to performance, and then you're either satisfied or you're not. And if you're not satisfied, you go back through the feedback loop and you continue through. Next, we'll talk about different types of rewards that are given in order to motivate employees. So there are two basic types of rewards. One is extrinsic reward, and these are rewards given to employees based on their performance or behaviors, and they're external. So it means that they're rewards that employers or supervisors give to their employees in order to encourage them to have good performance or behavior. Intrinsic rewards are just natural rewards that we give ourselves for performing a task. It's what I like to consider internal motivation. So let's look at some examples. So extrinsic motivation would be studying to get a good grade, taking a job because it pays well, posting on social media in order to get likes, exercising to win an award. Intrinsic are really internal motivations, studying because I'm interested in a topic, taking a job because it's fulfilling, posting on social media because I want to share a message, exercising to get fit for myself. All right, so you can see the difference here is one's being given to you by an external party and one's internally being rewarded. We also need to look at people's needs. So needs are the physical or psychological requirements that humans have to ensure survival and well-being. And the main person who is responsible for looking at needs is Maslow, which we'll look at in the next slide. So our lower order, or our lowest level needs, are concerned with safety and physiological and existence requirements, where our higher order needs are concerned with our relationships, accomplishments, and influence. And so let's look at these. At the bottom of this pyramid, you will see that the lowest level of needs is physiological: food, water, shelter, rest, all right? And right above that is safety needs, security and safety. These are our most basic needs that everybody needs to have. Now, if we take a step back, we need to note that in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow indicates that you can't move on to the next level of needs unless your lower level needs are satisfied. So you really have a hard time addressing your safety needs if you are just struggling to find food and shelter. So after physiological and safety needs, we have our psychological needs, which include belongingness and love. So these are our intimate relationships, our friends, and then our esteem needs, our feelings of accomplishment and prestige. And then the highest level, the top of the pyramid, is self-actualization, where somebody is actually working to achieve their full potential. So let's look at this in terms of employee engagement. All right, at the lowest level, if an employee is in the survival or security mode, they're very disengaged and unmotivated. What they're really here for is money. They're here to do the job, to make money, and to leave. They're not excited about their job. They maybe kind of say things like, it's just a job, I'm here to make money, I'll work extra, but only if you pay me extra. These are not very engaged employees. Employees who have survival and security and a sense of belonging and or importance are definitely more engaged. So once employees move into the belonging and importance stage, they're much more engaged. They might know they're part of something bigger. They may enjoy parts or all of their job. They feel like they're part of something bigger. And then at the highest level of self-actualization. And these employees are really looking at questions like, hey, what can I do for others? How can I inspire others? How can I be my best self? I love working here. And on average, less than 15% of people actually become highly engaged employees. So we have a lot of work to do in this in all organizations. All right, so there's some different theories that help with motivating employees. So equity theory says that people will be motivated when they perceive that they're being treated fairly. And what we look at here is our outcome versus our input ratio. So in equity theory, an employee's perception of how the rewards received from an organization compare with the employee's contribution to that organization. So if I'm contributing this, am I being rewarded fairly? All right. So they're looking at, based on what I'm putting into my job, how fairly am I being rewarded? So an under reward occurs when an employee feels like they're putting in more than they're getting out, like they're not getting what they're getting isn't fair. So maybe they think, I work really hard, I don't get paid enough for this, right? And we hear people say things like that all the time. I don't make enough. I should be making more for this. I deserve more vacation for how hard I work, etc., etc. And an over reward is actually the opposite. People putting in less inputs and being over rewarded. All right, so you're getting more than what you're actually putting in. We don't often hear people complain about over rewards now, do we? The next theory is expectancy theory. All right, so in expectancy theory, we look at if I put in effort and if I perform, will I get my desired reward? And so we look at expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. So for example, a manager tasks their employee with producing an advertising campaign, which would then get them the bonus or the balance or reward that they wanted, right? So I put in the effort, I got the results, did I get the reward? Did I get the reward I expected? All right. So we kind of talked about the components of expectancy theory, but again, the balance, the attractiveness or desirability of a reward, expectancy, the relationship between our effort and performance, and then instrumentality, the relationship between our performance and our rewards. So our balance and instrumentality combined affect our willingness to put forth effort, while expectancy transforms intended effort into actual effort. So if I expect that I'll get my balance, my desired reward, and I put in, or if I, if I expect I'll get if I expect that I'll get a specific reward, and it's an attractive reward, and I put in the effort, did I get what I expected? There's also reinforcement theory. Reinforcement theory is a theory that behavior is a function of consequences. Behaviors followed by positive consequences will occur more frequently, and behaviors followed by negative consequences or not followed by positive consequences will occur less frequently. So basically, there are consequences to our behavior, and we respond better to positive consequences than negative consequences. And so one of the things that we look at here is reinforcement and how we change behaviors. And there's reinforcement contingencies, which are cause and effect relationships between performance and consequences. And then our schedule of how often those positive or negative reinforcements occur. And so you can see that in reinforcement theory, there are reinforcement, positive reinforcement when we add new behaviors. Negative reinforcement is when new behaviors remove negative consequences. Punishment when new behaviors add negative consequences. And extinction when new behaviors remove positive consequences. All right. And so So as we noted, there are different schedules for delivering reinforcement. There's continuous reinforcement, where you create a schedule and a consequence, positive or negative, is administered following every instance. And then there's intermittent reinforcement schedules, where you might not get a reward or punishment every time, but it's more intermittent. Right, and so here we have our intermittent reinforcement schedule. So we have interval, so we have fixed and variable, and then ratio, fixed and variable. So in a fixed interval, our consequences follow behavior after a fixed time. After a variable interval, our consequences follow behavior after different times. It's more variable. Under fixed ratio, our consequences follow a specific number of behaviors. Under variable, it's different numbers, sometimes more, sometimes less. The next theory is goal setting theory, which basically says a target, objective, or a result that a goal is a target, objective, or result that someone tries to accomplish. And goal setting theory says that people will be motivated by having goals set them, all right, by having specific challenging goals and receiving feedback on their progress towards that goal. All right, so they have to be specific, they have to be challenging, people have to accept the goal, and people need to be given feedback on how they're doing on that goal. So in goal setting theory, we want to include employees in setting the goal, tie goals to work units, set specific goals, ask supervisors to also set their goals, hold performance meetings, gain ongoing feedback and coaching, ensure we're focusing on relevant areas, and align reward systems with results. And so, as you can see, motivation is a really big aspect in organizations. Some days it's hard to find motivation. Some days it finds you, as our little graphic shows. And we can accomplish our goals one step at a time. Keep helping. All right, that's all for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.